Yeah, we are back, baby. We are back for the final episode, or the final roster countdown of the greatest college football program since 1980. It is Trash Talking with the Old Heads. And before we get into it, I want to introduce our guests and our co-host today. Sorry, Mr. Dante ain't here today. I'm hosting the show. I'm holding it down. It's only apropos that it be me. It is your boy, Greg C, on the mic doing it. No excuses. Playing like a champion all day, every day. We're going to kick it over to my boy. Introduce yourself, Doc. Let them know who he is, Doc.
Rick, graduate of University of Alabama, long
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. I don't give a piss about nothing.
Say that. Say that.
And oh, it's going to be a long show. Lord have mercy.
We got this
long show.
Celtic Gator fan. What a nauseous color grouping that you ever could see. That ugly orange from the swamp. Introduce yourself.
What it is. You know who it is. It's your boy JW. Riding Dolo today. You know what I'm saying? But why play like a champion when you can be a champion? You see them Celtics over here. San Fran, the GOAT. I'm riding Dolo. It's going to be a long show, but we here. I got to do something with these Bama boys. That's exactly what it is.
You see what it is. We
roll like Tide. Roll Tide.
Ain't nothing but championship gear over here. Should I
roll Tide with saving?
Do I need to show my pain? Huh? It's Alabama Day, baby. Roll Tide. We roll into college football weekend. That's what it is. Hey, listen, we got a lot to discuss, but before we get into all of that, we need to make sure that you guys know that we appreciate you, and we'll appreciate you even more when you go out there and hit that like and that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the alarm bells and the alert whistles. Get in with us on Facebook, Trash Talking with the Old Heads. If you want to get in on the conversation that we have on a day-to-day basis, some of the hype, some of the hate, some of the noise that we bring, and some of the topics that we discuss on this podcast are birthed right there in the Facebook Trash Talking with the Old Head page. So get in with us. All right, since y'all already know, we are down to number one. Number who? Number one. What Rick and Bobby said? If you ain't first, you what?
Last.
If you ain't first, you're last. Well, guess who ain't last, baby? It is the number one greatest roster, greatest team since 1980. And forget all that. Not since 1980, since the inception of college football. This is the Ric Flair of college football.
Oh,
Ric Flair, I said. You talking to a Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, jets flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these championship rings down. Let's go. J-Dub, hit us off with a little knowledge that you got about our Crimson Tide. And you better come correct. I don't want to hear your pole mouth bashing. And you went to Bama. That's the part about it. He went to Bama, folks.
I went to Bama, and when I went to Bama, I was a Gator fan. So that's what it is.
All three of us are longtime friends from the University of Alabama. We met at the University of Alabama on the capstone. J-Dub, take it away.
All right. So this particular program, football program, plays at Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. When I was down on the campus, or on the yard, as they say, it was Bryant-Denny. They've rebuilt the stadium, and now it holds over 100,000 strong. Everybody knows Bama fans travel. Wherever that squad is, they rolling deep. Everybody knows that. I witnessed it myself from homecomings to any game. There was barely walking room on the campus. Anytime there was a game and it was an event from Thursday all the way to Monday morning when people were leaving. Every bar, every house, every party, everything was just thick. I'm not going to say it was my fondest memory, but one of my first memories of actually going into the stadium would have been a spring game. I'll never forget. That was when I had torn my I tore my knee. I remember wearing a linen suit and I had a cane. I wanted to go to that game for the first time just that bad. But as far as a Saturday morning, I was on my way to the game. I was going to see Ole Miss and Bama. But I ended up chasing some skirt and ended up in a sorority dorm. So I never made the game. And I saw the results later. But that was my first memory. I just remember the crowd of people just walking the streets and walking the sidewalk, walking to the game. It was something that I only witnessed in Birmingham, going to like the Classic or something. But it was way more. I mean, it was incredible. But those are my earliest memories, and now it's been changed, and they added Saban's name to it, and he earned it. You know, he's definitely considered the greatest college football coach of all time. And like I said, he did earn it. And they didn't want to get rid of the entire name, so they split it. And it's well worth it. Like I said, that man earned it. He put in his time with that school. So there we go. Give me the bona fides. I'm tired of talking about it.
Oh, it's Doc's turn. It's Doc's turn. We'll get to the bona fides. We all know why they number one, but
yeah, I mean, is it any doubt? Do we even need the bona fides? Y'all know. But anyway, so I got a lot of memories, obviously, being on campus there. But my first memory going to a game was actually in Birmingham at at Legion Field at 1992 SEC Championship with the Langham Pick Six. I was selling hot dogs for my high school for a fundraiser. It was like 10 degrees out there, but that was definitely my first memory going to a game that, helped solidify my decision to go down there to school. I used to actually visit J Dub down when I was a senior in high school with my fake ID down at the CC, drinking Blue Hawaiians down there at the when I was in high school. So got a lot of memories out of Tuscaloosa. Some of them can't be mentioned on for the public consumption, but a lot of memories out of the T-Town.
Them Blue Hawaiians and them Long Island iced teas used to have your fingers shriveled up from the amount of moisture and coldness that you had to hold, because them was some big mayonnaise jars full of alcohol, full of nothing but that bottom shelf.
that hot oil. That hot oil, buddy.
It wasn't no choice but to fight. Fight and get at them hoes. But that's another story for another day. Again, I got plenty of memories of Bama. Of course, we got to shout out this recent run. This is really what truly vaulted this program to the top of the tier when it comes to, and they were already there, but we had a rough spell from when Bear Bryant died. Got a little bit of it back with Gene Stallings, and then we had the Mikes. Dealt with the Mikes. Saban came in and really just did a job that you could not expect, and truly cemented his name as the GOAT of college football. He is truly the GOAT of college football, and this is the GOAT of college football teams. And so I'm going to do what I've been doing on these last few episodes. Yay, Alabama, drown in time. Every man but Bama's man behind you. Hit the stride. Go teach the Bulldogs to behave. Then those yellow jackets to a watery grave. And if a man starts kicking in the chain where Bama's plucking big have big hurt. Name ain't Christmas Lane. Fight on, fight on, fight on. And remember the Rose Bowl will win. Then so roll on to victory. Hit your stride, your Dixie's football pride. Crimson Tide, roll tide, roll tide. Hold on, one more, Rick. This is when you end the show, when you end the game after stumping ass for 48 minutes. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, dun, 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 dun. Hey, Tigers. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, Bulldogs.
Unbearable.
You're
Beat
gonna
the hell out of you. Grandma, jamma, yellow hammer, give them hell, Alabama.
Bama.
Talking about, baby. That's how you start a show. That's how you
Unbearable.
start a show.
Unbearable.
Not unbearable at all. Nothing but love. I bleed crimson. Hey, let me tell you what. I'm Crimson Tide born. I'm Crimson Tide bred. And when a nigga die, I'm gonna be Crimson Tide dead. Roll Tide.
Barefoot.
I don't go picks. Hey, listen, no, we're gonna go over the Bama fides. We ain't gonna call them bona fides, Bama fides. Going over their Bama fides today. All right. So we know we rank these teams based on certain criteria. The criteria were national championships, conference championships, Heisman Trophy winners, wins, amount of NFL players drafted, and number of weeks at AP number one. So we got Bama with 7 national championships since
1980.
All right, man, you're late, man.
My bad. I was looking over stuff. My
Off
bad.
your shoulders, man. I know this, Bama, man. I know you're hurt, man. But hey, come on now.
I'm good.
You're holding it down. Dante, listen. He's not playing like a champion today. Dante ain't playing like a champion. And the guy that's on the show, opposite of the partner, is not playing like a champion. Get it together. So 7 national championships since 1980. That's number 1, of course, for any other programs in our top 12. 13 conference titles. They have 4 Heisman Trophy winners. That's tied for number 1 for the most for the programs in our top 12. They were Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, Bryce Young, and Devontae Smith. A total of 437 wins. They were tied for 3rd most of the programs in our top 12. The amount of NFL players drafted, 253, tied for 3rd. Or no, they weren't tied for 3rd, outright 3rd in our top 12. And then this is staggering. How many weeks do you think they were ranked in the AP number 1 as the AP number 1 team since 1980?
100.
118. See, Rick, hey, that's why you are
118.
where you are, dog.
What's the next closest?
18.
What's the next closest?
The next closest was Notre Dame, who's not in our top 12, but they had 98. So we were 20 clear of the next closest. But out of our top 12, the next closest was Florida State with 72.
Damn.
Blowout.
Damn.
Impressive.
I'm shocked that we just went over the Heisman Trophy winners, and all of that is recent.
Again, what did I say earlier? I said it was Saban's run that really cemented this program as the GOAT. We were already a top tier program. Maybe if we didn't have Saban, we may have been right around that 12, 10, 9, 8 mark, somewhere around that. If the program had been stewarded by guys like Mike DuBose and Mike Shula and Mike Price. But Saban saved the day. Got to give it up to him. All right. So is it any doubt who the head coach would be when we get into this roster?
Hell no.
Nah.
I'm just glad we made the definitive move to not let this dude be the coach of 2 teams. Definitely wasn't gonna let that shit happen.
He definitely could have coached the LSU team. He should. I mean, if you look at their coaches, who was greater, LSU or Les Miles? Who do we pick? Lester Miles.
We had to go with
to go with the
We had to go with the mad. We had to go with we had to go with the mad scientist.
The grass eater, whatever.
We all know who was the better of the 2. But anyway, for these purposes, come on over here, Mr. Saban. All right. Rick, take it away. Quarterback.
We had a lot. We didn't have a lot of discussion. We considered, we threw a few names out there. We threw out A.J. McCarron, who, always underrated and forgotten. He actually has 2 titles, a bunch of stats. We talked about Tua, but ultimately, y'all know who it is. Bryce Young, Heisman Trophy winner, first round draft pick, number 1 draft pick. So Bryce Young actually, was one of our highest recruits ever, and he lived up to the promise. So Bryce Young is who it is.
Yeah.
Like you said, AJ McCarron, definitely had the stats and the natties. Had a possibility of winning 3. Kick 6, goddamn. Whew, I hate even thinking about it. If it wasn't for that, we probably would have been a 3 straight natties in a row, which would have been highly impressive.
One of the funniest plays in college football history. I mean, super funny. I really almost picked Tua just because I'm just a Tua. I'm a fan of Tua's accuracy on his balls, man. I've rarely seen a quarterback that puts the ball so perfect when he throws. I mean, you talking right on the money. He did it in college, but you got him going up against Bryce Young. Bryce Young, those clutch moments he had really solidified him during his play at Bama. I mean, we talking clutch. We talking gotta have a touchdown, and he delivered. He definitely
would have had a title had not Mechie got hurt in the SEC championship game and JMO went down in the first half of the championship game. They would have won that game. They would have won that game. They were winning the game when JMO went down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think Tua, for his Tua, the years that he had prior to the injuries, that's the thing that kept him off the list for me. The injuries kept him off the list for me.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, most definitely. Got to stay on the field. Got to be able to stay on the field.
All right, running back, J-Dub, break us off something.
Actually, all of us had these running backs. Well, the first running back, RB1. Everybody had RB1, which is Derrick Henry. I mean, that monster. How can you not pick that monster at RB1? He's still doing this thing now. He's been a man amongst boys for a long, long time. I'll never forget the first time watching a Bama game and they showed him in high school. That shit was unfair. That's ridiculous for that man to be that big playing against high school kids. That was incredible. And then RB2, we had some discussion. Greg put up a real big fight, but he lost. He was outvoted 3-1. RB2 ended up being long legs, long strides, Shaun Alexander.
Every pad you could possibly ever wear as a football player, he had it, except for the neck roll.
Most definitely.
Pads Alexander. Listen, Bama fans, don't be mad at me. I picked Mark Ingram, the Heisman Trophy winner, but you can't go wrong with Shaun either. He was definitely one of the greatest. He was, before we had our influx of top tier running backs, he was probably going to be the greatest running back at Bama when he graduated, and he had an NFL career to speak of what he did in college too. So, but yeah. No, I ain't gonna fight. I didn't fight it that long. I just wanted y'all to really take into consideration.
You fought, dog. You fought. Don't even try. You
hey,
fought.
Man, what is your problem with people wearing the number 22?
You fought.
It's dawned on me. Because he wore the number 22, you gonna hate?
No, it didn't have nothing to do with that. It's just like Rick mentioned it when we were picking the players. Shaun A carried. You know what I'm saying? He was on a lesser team than Mark Ingram was. Shaun A really did carry that team and definitely won some games for them with his legs for sure.
Well, you have to give Mark his credit too, because he was part of the class that brought Bama back from the dead. You know what I'm saying? Now he didn't start his freshman year, but you could truly see that he was that dude when he that first game against Clemson. And he was getting those carries and he was breaking tackles off the rip and he had that burst. I was like, oh, this dude gonna be special. And he was the less heralded of the two big time recruits. I don't even think he was a 5-star. I think he was a 3-star.
3-star, yeah.
Yeah. So, what I'm saying, it was Julio. But we didn't have what we had later in Saban's career. You know what I'm saying? We had a better defense. Probably he had some, Rolando McClain and Terrence Cody and all those guys, but on the offense, it was Julio, Marquise Mays, and Darius Hanks. That they were good players, but come on now, Freddie Mills, you gonna You gonna
Correct.
shade Freddie Mills like that?
I mean, man, listen, Shaun Alexander was a tank, and it proved on the next level. When he went to the pros too, he had a nice little stint.
Had he not had that LSU game, would y'all have him as highly rated?
I probably would. I mean, of course, it's hard to say. You got to consider that. But, looking at that year where I believe it was his senior year when they beat Florida in the SEC championship, Shaun A was the man that year. Just give him the ball, run behind Chris Samuels, and let him work.
Yeah. Yeah.
He definitely was that. He was that.
Yeah. And if he got to an edge, or if he was able to cut it off the edge and get upfield, you weren't catching him with those strides.
You get him with that short, stiff arm.
I know. Yeah.
Them pads. That man had hip pads, thigh pads, knee pads, 2 elbow pads. It was padded up, buddy.
Yeah, he looked like a Marvel. He looked like a Marvel character with all the damn padding on.
Wide receiver. I think we was unanimous 4. Everybody had these 3. The only school with 3 Biletnikoff winners, and these 3 are on the squad: Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, and the Slim Reaper, Devontae Smith.
An impressive group, to say the least. But when you're talking about receivers at Alabama, Julio Jones, his size, his speed.
We ain't pausing on that, man. We can't pause everything.
His speed, his hands. The dude was again the same thing. He was a man against boys. At the wide receiver position. His durability and his stamina. That's what I remember the most. Like late in games, you can go to him. Early in games, you can go to him. It didn't matter the route. It didn't matter the style of the game, hard hitting, whether it was trying to outscore opponents or whatever the case may be. He was able to play that type of style. Julio, man, he was a special talent, and I remember it might have been the pivot that asked Saban his list of favorite players to coach, and Julio, of course, was one of the players that he mentioned. Dynamic player.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, tight end. Who we had, Rick?
O.J. Howard. Alabama hadn't had really a long list of spectacular tight ends, but O.J. Howard stood out. He was definitely a physical marvel, on the field. And, that championship game against Clemson, he stepped up. They schemed up some plays for him, scored 2 long touchdowns. So that cemented his place on this top roster since 1980.
Yeah, he definitely knew how to eat up the space on his routes. He definitely filled in. And that game you mentioned, you're right. That's the game that definitely solidified him. And I remember watching that game like, man, who is covering this dude?
Nobody.
Who is covering this dude?
Not nobody. Nobody was covering him.
Golly.
O.J. Howard, he was open all day that game. I'm gonna say this though about O.J. His career left a lot of meat on the bone.
Yeah.
For what we expected from him. And I think he played during a time where we were kind of, who we had? Blake Sims and Jalen Hurts and Jake Coker. Yeah. I think if he had played more with Tua and Bryce and maybe even AJ, he would have
could have been more of a weapon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But yeah, we didn't have a lot of tight ends, great tight ends. Most of our tight ends were more blockers than pass catchers. Outside of Irv Smith, we had a couple of decent white boys, Colin Peak, and but then we got him from Georgia Tech. I think Nick Walker was pretty good. We had a couple during the 90s, but they were just okay. Rutledge, remember Rod Rutledge?
Ooh, Rod Rutledge. Yeah, that's out of the crib.
Irwin.
Definitely got to give him a shout out. Yeah.
I got a Rod Rutledge story. Boy, we were playing at Irwin. I didn't start this game. So so I go in. Soon as I go in, I think it might have been Kelsey. Somebody threw me a bad pass. I was on the wing. Somebody throws me a bad pass. Rod Rutledge breaks from the block, tips it out. It's a steal. Both of us are going to the ball. We get to the ball at the same time. Rod Rutledge hit me with a forearm, and I went into the second row. I went into the second row of the bleachers. Of course, he gets the ball, goes down to Duncan. As soon as he dunked it, soon as one of us get the ball to take the ball out, coach called timeout, took me out the game. I'm like, you taking me out here? I didn't throw the pass. You clearly saw me get knocked into the stands. Ref didn't call it, but he
wanted to get
right
your head clear, man. He wanted to make sure you was all right over there. You went all loosey goosey out there.
Coach Scoggins took me right out the game. I'm like, man, come on, man. I got us a bad pass. I wouldn't have threw that pass to the wing like that. The dude broke and dunked. That's crazy. I'll never forget that. Strong Cock Diesel dude.
That's a big dude, man. It was a big dude. But let's go with the offensive line. J-Dub, hit us off. Who we got?
Offensive line, man, this is impressive. Definitely an impressive list. You got award winners, definitely big time accolades all throughout this list. So left tackle and right tackle, we went with Chris Samuels and Andre Smith. At the guard positions, we went with Chance Warmack and Barrett Jones. And then at center, we went with Ryan Kelly. This particular group,
some big boys right there.
It's a steady fat boy group, like your boy Michael Irvin said. It's a steady fat boy group. They'll definitely be able to keep the quarterback upright. One thing I want to say about Andre Smith is, I don't know if y'all remember, but when he finally started getting playing time, do y'all remember the cuts they used to cut away to him doing those backflips? Do y'all remember that? They used to show his athleticism, and the dude would do like 4 or 5 or 6 backflips. I'd never seen that before. No damn lineman doing backflips. I'd never seen that before. I remember that for sure. I remember that.
I don't remember that, but I do know when him coming out of Huffman, right here in Birmingham, you know, he was slated to be the next great offensive tackle, but out of all of the offensive linemen you named, Chris Samuel was by far hands down the best one out of all of them. You wasn't getting past Chris Samuel. You wasn't getting past him at all. And it translated in the NFL until he started having back issues.
Yeah. No doubt.
Ryan Kelly, too. Ryan Kelly was one of the best centers and still is in the league right now to this day. So a solid offensive line. All these offensive line that we have put together for these teams have all been pretty solid. Been solid to great.
Yeah.
All right. So the last, our kick returner. If you got any questions about this, then you go argue with your mama. David Papa Cherry Palmer. The deuce is loose. What more can you ask? Javier Arenas, we give you credit. We give you kudos. Freddie Millens, you did your thing. Nobody was as terrifying back there as David Palmer. The teams would kick away from him for sure because they knew if they gave him a lane or an alley, he was going to do something with it.
Yeah, definitely the deuce. He translated for sure from I'm going back all the way to early 80s Birmingham Metro Little League football to high school to college, and he even had an 8-year NFL career playing slot receiver and punt returner. So yeah, he definitely translated on every level. We were talking about it on the rundown that his high school highlights was must-see TV. This was way before the internet, way before YouTube. You had to be there at 10 o'clock on Friday nights to see what David Palmer was going to do because he was just that special. So definitely David Palmer, well deserving of this spot as the kick returner on the greatest team in the history of college football.
True story. True story. I didn't tell y'all this last night. I wanted to bring it up to you. Let's see your face. My mother dated his brother-in-law. Well, not his brother-in-law, his actual still half brother.
Wow.
Yeah, Larry Thomas. Shout out to Larry Thomas. Great mechanic. If you need your car fixed, holler at me. I'll hit him up. And he'll get you straight.
Yeah, your boy Papa Cherry, man, was a special. He knew how to make you miss. He had the wiggle, he had the angles. Man, all the way from Sandlot, from playing flag football out in front of J.O., man. It was incredible to see somebody like that. Then for him to make it all the way to the pros, to see that from the hometown, that was it was unbelievable. If you saw him as a kid, man, it was just like Rick said. When you watch the news and watch the rundowns of the scores, it was incredible. Definitely a good player. He got his party on, but he balled out. Come Saturday, he balled out. He definitely balled out.
How many times he got suspended?
hey, full of that oil sometime. He definitely got it. He definitely kicked it or whatever. But Rick, we were together. I don't know if you remember. We were together when they beat Tennessee. When he played under center and ran it in. We were together in Rose Tower.
Oh, we didn't beat Tennessee. That was the tie game, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he tied.
That was the first time we didn't win in like 29, 30 games.
Right.
We was like on a 30-something game winning streak. And we ended up losing later that year to LSU in 93. But yeah, I remember that game, man. I was disappointed. You coming off a national championship, we still beating teams up. Not as good as we were the year before, but still pretty solid. And we was losing to Tennessee, a team we had been beaten down for years.
I just remember us in the room like we knew he was gonna run it in. We were like, how in the hell can they not stop this? Like we knew he's not throwing the ball on the goal. He's running this for sure. Exactly. And he got in there.
They ran it out of that crazy T formation or something, didn't he?
Right. Exactly.
Right. But it was gonna be him all the way.
I gotta go back and watch that play. I gotta see if somebody got it on.
You gotta put the ball in the playmaker's hand, man.
All right, so let's go down this list again, starting with the head coach, Mr. Nick Saban. We got Bryce Young at QB. We have Derrick Henry and Shaun Alexander, the great, at running back. He said Eddie Lacy. TJ Yeldon. Shad Williams. Who else you want to throw in there?
Sherman Douglas.
And Dennis Riddle.
Ooh, Riddler.
Sherman Douglas was a Civil War general, sir. You mean Sherman Williams?
Sherman Williams, my man, Sherman Williams.
Derrick Classic, we called them all out. But Derrick Henry and Shaun Alexander the Great. We got King Henry and we got Shaun Alexander the Great. Great names for two great running backs. And wide receiver.
Old school Bobby Humphrey. We forgot him.
Oh yeah.
We got to shout out Bobby. At wide receiver, we got Julio Jones. We got Amari Cooper. And we got Mr. Devontae Slim Reaper Smith. 3 Biletnikoff winners. The only school with 3 Biletnikoff winners. At tight end, O.J. Howard. Offensive tackles, Chris Samuel, Andre Smith. Guards, Chance Warmack and Barrett Jones. Center, Ryan Kelly. And returning it, the deuce is loose, Papa Cherry, David Palmer. All right, that's a 5 offense. Fellas, who do y'all believe? Where is the strength of this group?
Ooh-wee.
I'll put it like this. There is no weakness. So, I mean.
And here's the thing about Bryce Young. He didn't play behind great offensive linemen. Right. He had some good ones, but his offensive line, we had really diminished a little bit. We took a step back during his years as a quarterback. Put him behind the offensive line with that type of time, and them wide receivers, we already saw what he did with Mechie and J-Mo.
And you're gonna have to stack the box, so we just gonna pound the ball all day long. So you're gonna have
I was gonna say wide receiver, when you look at King Henry and Shaun Alexander, oh man.
you're gonna have to put eight man in the box. So that's gonna leave Julio and Amar and Slim Reaper one-on-one.
Julio one-on-one, cut it.
I ain't trying to hit none of that shit. I ain't trying to
cut
hit
it. Cut it.
Yeah, I guess. I'll go running back too. Derrick Henry, man. Man. Golly. You talk about two stiff-arming ass running backs.
Hey, man. Y'all go back and watch that play. It's a play.
Golly.
He had like a 70, 80-yard run against Mississippi State. He hit an angle. He hit, you know what I'm saying, hit the edge, hit the sideline, but he had an angle. He straight up outran the dude. I'm talking about the dude didn't touch him. It looked like he would have, you know what I'm saying, at least hit him at about the 25, 20-yard line. Dude didn't touch him. I was like, damn.
And that's the amazing thing about him, man. I don't never see him get caught from behind for how big
you ain't catching him from behind. You're not catching him from behind. You better stop him before he get going. He like a train, dog. You are not stopping that train. Once that train get to moving, you better slow him down. You know what I'm saying? 3 to 4, 5 yards in. He hit full top speed. It might hit his head on the goalpost.
And it's a fear factor too of tackles. You know what I'm saying? A safety and a corner, they got to be thinking how. You know, they're not thinking of their skills and fundamentals. They got how. The first thing in their mind has to be, how am I gonna get this big ass dude down? And that fear factor is part of it. They don't really want to try to tackle that dude.
They ain't trying to be on court center against stiff arm like that.
Yeah. YouTube memes, all of that shit. They don't want none of that.
And this is where coaching matters, because when we finish the rest of this team, I don't give a damn what the other side look like. You ain't out coaching Nick Saban. You're right. You're not out coaching that guy. Let's move over to the defense. Let's get to the D. Let's get to the D. Pause.
Oh man, I need Dante. Golly.
Damn, Dante. But shout out Dante. But you know, prayers up, brothers. Prayers up. But defense. We're gonna start on the D line, D end, on the edges. Rick, break it down, and we're gonna have some comment. I want you to, give us the conversation we had about why we did what we did.
So the first question when we were choosing the defense was, do we consider Derrick Thomas and Cornelius Bennett linebackers or defensive ends? So we went back and forth for a few minutes, looked up some stuff, and ultimately we decided that they were linebackers. And so, that sort of factored into, our defensive line choices and our linebacker choices. But with that said, defensive ends, two great pass rushers and run stoppers. We went with old school Eric Curry from the 92 championship team.
One of the bookends.
And new school Will Anderson, one of the greatest players in Alabama history. So that's our choice for defensive end. No running, no passing on these defensive ends.
At all.
Oh boy.
The bookends. We could have put, man, and this is what's crazy. There are a lot of great defensive ends. We could have put Antoine Odom on the defensive end. We could have put John Copeland on the defensive end. You brought up a name yesterday. Keith McCants on the defensive end.
Jonathan Allen.
Well, we got him on there, but not at the end.
Right.
Which will lead to our D tackle, which we went with Marcel Darius and Jonathan Allen. Plenty of conversation about the D tackles. Could it have been Terrence Cody? Could it have been Cornelius Griffin? Could it have been Michael Myers? Woo! Y'all don't remember that name, do you?
Dude, 96. Yeah.
That dude was a monster.
Yeah. Quentin
Would it have been Quentin Williams? That was if it
Williams,
came down to Quentin Williams, Q Williams, Marcel Darius, Jonathan Allen, and I think Terrence Cody got a couple of mentions as well. But we went with Marcel Darius and Jonathan Allen.
Yeah, y'all kept mentioning disruptability and all this crap with Marcel Darius. Marcel Darius was definitely a great player at Alabama. Just like y'all said, he was disruptive or whatever. But Quentin Williams had the bona fides, I thought, to give him the edge to earn the spot. But I mean, you can't really go wrong. You know, I didn't argue long just because I know how good Marcel Darius was. You know, he stood out. He was definitely a star player on the team. And he single-handedly won some games for them too. He got some games just like we remember Cody for, you know, blocking some kicks. You remember
Cody again.
You remember the games with that Marcel Darius was doing his thing. You definitely do.
Oh, you got to have run stuffers. And I think Quentin Williams, for as much of a great pass rusher he is, he was more about getting up the field. And sometimes you need somebody to just take on 2 blocks.
Yeah.
And so Marcel Darius, well, he could get up the field and take on 2 blocks. And
as you'll see coming up, we got plenty of pass rushers.
We got plenty of them. We need to make sure that you 3rd and 8. We need to make sure you 3rd and 8. Because when you drop back to pass, buddy, you better have your head on the swivel. All right, so that make about D line. Jerry, give us our linebacking core, sir.
Boy, linebackers. Y'all, you got to start the linebacking core off with Derrick Thomas. What a phenom at the position, coming off that edge. You talking, you know, nowadays they like to say that Michael Parsons is close to an LT. No, Derrick Thomas was as close to LT as you can get. He was definitely that particular prototype of linebacker. Then you got Cornelius Biscuit Bennett right here out of our backyard, right out of Ansley High School. I'll never forget the speech he gave at my middle school. Shout out Bush Middle School, when he basically told us how bad he was in high school and ran up and down the hallways, and it finally clicked in with, you know, the teachers really trying to get a hold of him and telling him he had to get his books, and he was able to hone in and focus on his books as well as his football, and made a career and was able to help his family out. I'll never forget that speech at my middle school. And then to round off the linebacker core, Rolando McClain. We had some discussion, and I'll let y'all mention the other linebackers that could have took Rolando's spot, but Rolando McClain got it. I think his versatility, for me anyway, he was a man against boys too. He really was. He could get sideline to sideline. He could get to the back. Had good hands. Get his hands on picks. But that's a very, 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 very impressive linebacking core. You can't go wrong with any of those dudes.
Hey, and this is for everybody that know, you know what I'm saying? Rolando is one of Nick Saban's favorite players that he coached, because he was like a coach on the field, but he was y'all remember Andre Royal?
Yeah.
How much of a tip? That's Rowe. That's Rowe. A bigger, smarter. Bro, I don't know how smart, but I'm talking about on the football field. You know what I'm saying? The type of mentality that he had, and you marry that with somebody that is a student of the game, that's Rowe. I wish he was able to take that. He would have been able to keep that. He needed, you know what I'm saying? He needed a mentor like Saban to keep him going in the league, where he would be one of the great linebackers in NFL history. But yeah, you can't go wrong with DT, man. And rest in peace. He was truly the second coming of LT. Like right behind LT came Derrick Thomas. So both 56. Cornelius Bennett, he he was before Derrick Thomas. So you had Cornelius Bennett, then Derrick Thomas. Crazy. Crazy.
I mean, Alabama's linebacker core, we had, it ultimately wasn't a tough decision because of the greatness of Cornelius Bennett and Derrick Thomas, but we had a lot of people to choose from. A lot of great linebackers in Alabama history. Derrick Thomas still got the record of 27 sacks in a season in a 10 or 11 game season when they weren't even throwing the ball that much. So, so it literally seemed like every time they were throwing the ball, he was in the backfield. To get 27 sacks in a season.
Imagine if he played during this era of college football.
He'd have 35 sacks.
And he got 52 for his career.
That's crazy.
Listen, these are and I want to give a shout out. I want to, pat my Bama fans on the back, pat my Bama program on the back. I mentioned that we were the only school with 3 Biletnikoff Award winners. We are one of 2 schools with 4 Butkus Award winners. The other one, we mentioned the 3 that's on the field with this roster. The other one, Mr. Reuben Foster, who was also that dude. I'm talking about Mr. Cleanup Man. Clean up on aisle 6. And then you mentioned the sack totals. Derrick Thomas, 52. Will Anderson, 34. Jonathan Allen, 28. Eric Curry, 22. All these, Rick, what you saying about passing the ball?
Won't be no passing. Won't be no passing. You better get into 2nd and 2. So, and I don't know how you're going to do that either. So
better throw a lot of screens.
Yeah, man.
Now we're finna talk about the corners, the secondary. J-Dub, hit us off with the strong safeties and free safeties. Who we got?
Oh, at the safety position, we're looking at Mr. Minkah Fitzpatrick and George Teague at the safety position.
Everybody remember that play, the play that didn't count. That was one of the best plays ever in college football history. The way he hawked that dude down, oh my God. And that dude wasn't no slowpoke. He was one of the fastest receivers in college football.
It was a long ass play too.
Hawked him down and took it.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Yeah. Give me your ball, pump.
Solid player, translated into a long NFL career. And then, of course, Minkah Fitzpatrick. We don't really have to say much about him. He was all over the field, coach on the field, always making plays.
Always.
We had a lot of people to choose from. Mark Barron, Landon Collins, Eddie Jackson. Had a lot of people to choose from.
Jackson was
Jackson was seeing like one year he had like 5 pick sixes one year. So
on the kick return, for real.
Right.
But Minkah had a couple pick sixes too. I think he had at least 4 or 5. I know he had 2 in the A&M game.
Right. So yeah, so we had a lot of people to choose from the safety group.
And then our corners, we got Antonio Langham, Pat Surtain, and throwback to the old school, Mr. Jeremiah Castile.
Once again, no passing. They could have had us 3 at corner with this pass rush, and still not been able to do anything. So, once we get into the matchups against the other teams, it's gonna be some interesting conversations because some other teams got good receivers, but
LSU, Miami Miami. Well, they had to match that up with our receiving corps, but Miami, Ohio State, and LSU really stand out to me.
Right.
I'm gonna tell y'all, man. Castile surprised me when we start going over this list, and then when y'all mentioned him, because I didn't have him on my list, and then when y'all mentioned him, I went and looked at his bona fides. I was surprised. Like I don't know why I just didn't think of him in this light. But when I really started thinking about him he made plays. He was always knocking some balls down at the position. And I really don't know why he didn't come to mind when I was doing my search, but he definitely did earn that spot. Another cat that's from the career.
No doubt. And his son played cornerback as well, Simeon Castile. He had a total of 12 interceptions over his illustrious career. But last but not least, our kicker. Now, Lord knows this ain't been one of our strengths, but this guy was pretty solid. Only if we had him in the LSU game and the Auburn pick 6 game. Maybe we go undefeated. We still won the chip that year. And maybe we win 3 in a row in the pick 6 game. But Will Reichert, leading in all-time points made and field goal percentage for his career. I think it was like at 84% field goal percentage.
Yep, and the leading scorer in the history of college football.
No doubt. Very, very easy pick. So we'll go back through this list. Again, Coach Nick Saban. And let's not take away the greatness of all the coaches that are manning these teams, but Saban's the GOAT. Saban's the GOAT. And if there is a roster, I ain't saying that there isn't, but if there is a roster that is better than this one, there damn sure ain't a coach that's better than this one. And this roster is up there with the best rosters. There's no holes. We just seen it. There's no holes on either side of the ball. So we're going back through it. On the D line.
Hold on. We gotta go over what's the best group on the defense.
Hold on, let me go through the
You right. I'm ahead of myself.
Jumping the gun, man. You jumping the gun. Offsides. 5-yard penalty.
You right.
All right, D line, Will Anderson, Eric Curry. On the edges. Got the man in the middle, Marcel Darius and Jonathan Allen. Our linebacker core, Hell on Wheels, Derrick Thomas and Cornelius Biscuit Bennett. Man in the middle, Rolando McClain, straight from the deck, baby. Hold it down, 256. No fly zone, Minka Fitzpatrick and George, give me that ball, punk, T. Fitzpatrick, ball hawking, taking everything away that you throw up just because you're trying to throw that pass real quick. Antonio Langham doing the same thing. You ain't finna burn him right off the rip. Patrick Surtain, Pat Surtain, you're not burning him right off the rip. Jeremiah Castillo, old school. You're not burning him right off the rip. And then Will Reichert is our field goal kicker. Fellas, what is the strength of this unit?
It's the linebacking core.
Yeah.
It's the linebacking core. That's
anytime you got Cornelius Bennett and Derrick Thomas, 2 of the greatest players in college football history.
Out in the Saban era, for all you non-BAMA, Big Ten, Big East, Pac-12 fans, these were players before Saban. So we've been doing this shit.
Yeah, you when you talking Derrick Thomas, like you said, and Biscuit, man, that's I mean, all over the field, getting to the quarterback and all over the field. Both of those, they could probably play with 2 linebackers with this squad, and still get to the edges. You know what I'm saying? And still get sideline to sideline. Wow, yeah, impressive.
I gotta go with the linebacker core too. The defensive line very solid, but their linebacking core, man, is unreal. All right, well, there you have it, guys. Again, we're gonna go through, with hopefully we get more comments. We're gonna put the polls up for the first matchup. Again, the first 4 teams or the top 4 teams are BAMA, Florida, Miami, and Ohio State. They get the bye, just like you would in this year's version of the college football championship.
Florida State. You said Florida State.
My bad. Good correction. Alabama, Florida State, Miami, and Ohio State. They get the bye. And then in our first round matchup, we get Oklahoma versus Florida. We get USC versus LSU. We get Michigan versus Clemson. And we get Nebraska versus Georgia Bulldogs. Fellas, thoughts on this roster, on what we've got as the top 12 programs?
Ooh.
It's been a long road to get to number one. We still got a ways to go. Picking through these teams and looking at these sets. I was glad to see on the last episode that we had what do we have 21? We had 21 of our players that made that AP roster of all time. It was like 21 of the players that we chose from these programs. I was glad to see that. That's a lot. That's a lot for us to pick that actually made it. I thought that was impressive for us to be on point with that, and our knowledge of the game, our knowledge of the history of the game. This long road to get to where we are now, to finally get to number one, it just shows you how great college football has been, how fun it is, the memories that it brings. It took me back to my childhood, took me back to my college days, the whole nine. If I had to pick a roster that really stands out of all 12 teams, I really can't pick one. Bama, of course, we just went over. I know y'all, tooting your own horn and all that. Bama does stick out, but I will say, other than my Gators, because I'm biased, it was real fun going through that Miami squad. It was a whole lot of nostalgia when we went through that Nebraska squad. Tommy Frazier, getting to the title 3 times. That's impressive. And then Florida State, I got to give it up to Florida State because Peter Ward was somebody that I really, really followed in college. He was electrifying to me. So out of all 12 programs, I would have to say Bama, Florida State, Nebraska, and Miami brought back other than my Gators, of course, brought back a whole lot of memories on this road to get to number one.
Fair enough. Well, there you have it, guys. That is our number one team on the greatest college football program since when?
1980.
Since 1980. This has been another episode of Trash Talking with the Old Heads. Stay tuned. We got another topic coming up. Be on the lookout for that video. Again, don't forget to hit and smash that like and subscribe button.
Go Gators.
Hit the alert bells. Hit the notifications.
Go Gators.
And then last but not least, join us on the Facebook Trash Talking with the Old Heads. We up out of here. Peace. Roll Tide. Roll. I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby. Let's go.